Vice Chair Bronson Azama will be hopping on soon.
Okay, thank you.
And also, since he's having technical issues right now, I'll be calling the meeting to order at 5:31. And since I'm also Assistant Secretary, I can start taking attendance. Okay. Commissioner Wen? Okay, I don't see him. Commissioner Carranza? I don't see him either. Commissioner Payne?
Present.
Commissioner Shimizu told us he'd be out. Commissioner Shea?
Here.
Commissioner Soon?
Here.
Secretary Duran? He told me he will be coming. Not secretary, sorry, Commissioner Mishima?
Present.
Okay, Vice Chair Millard?
Present.
Okay, Vice Chair Ozama? He'll be hopping on soon, I think. Commissioner Baladoy? Not here.
I see her on the Zoom.
Oh, here?
She's on the Zoom, but she hasn't responded.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll mark her present. Chair Campbell will not be here with us today. Commissioner Ho? Here. And Commissioner Brammer?
Here.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't think we established quorum, but I'll be handing it off to our vice chairs. Oh, never mind. Commissioner, Vice Chair Millard's microphone isn't working. Okay, moving on to the next business in the agenda.
There are student sections. Like, ours is a little more hype, but it's like still not the hype. No, so I told Keegan.
Commissioner.
And I know Keegan is like, but he's on the football team. And
Commissioner.
Nice though.
Commissioner, you have to mute yourself.
Not
Very.
Yeah, so, yeah, but we're like, are you guys pulling him to our games next year?
Commissioner, you have to mute yourself.
Please pull up. He's like, oh, you guys need to come to our games. I was like, hello. Everyone goes to your games. You
Well, yeah.
don't even need me.
You're not gonna know.
You don't even
One's on.
I've only been to one football game. They lost.
Commissioner Machino, Riley, couldn't you? Thank you.
Thank you.
We've reached quorum with 8 of us, right? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I think I miscounted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, we did establish quorum. Sorry about that. And a hectic.
I'm not sure if my mic is working.
I hear you,
Yeah, we
Lindsay.
hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. Sorry I was running late, but thanks for starting for us, Secretary Lin. So yeah, hopefully a couple more will join us. I think Vice Chair Azama said he should be joining, so at least one more person. But yeah, we can just get started with the rest of the agenda then. If we want to go ahead and approve the April minutes. It was sent over email. It looks okay. If someone can motion second to approve.
I'll motion to approve April minutes.
I'll second that. Wait, could I motion to amend them?
Oh, sorry.
In the April minutes, it said that it was talking about the town halls, and that Commissioners Payne, Shimizu, and Shea shared notable positive experiences, and I'd like to change it from me to someone else because I wasn't talking about it. I think it might have been Commissioner Brammer or Commissioner Carranza.
It was both.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Okay. Well, it only says Commissioner Payne, Shimizu, and Shea.
Okay, thank you for the edit. Do you guys have that, secretaries?
That was Commissioner Shea who proposed the amendments, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you wanted us to change your name to who?
Commissioner Carranza and Commissioner Brammer.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So with those amendments, was there any other amendments? Anyone thought any changes, edits to be made? Okay, if not, I think we can approve it from, with those amendments. So now moving on to speakers. I believe there are no speakers today. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, yeah, I think not. So now moving on to old business with social media updates from our secretaries.
So there hasn't been any updates regarding the Instagram itself besides new followers, which is good. And then moving on to the Honolulu Youth Commission survey, there also hasn't been any additional responses. So if commissioners can really if commissioners can really publicize that, that'd be great, because I don't think we've gotten any new responses since January.
Hi, Esther.
Yeah.
Do you know if we've spent anything to like boost those posts for the HYC survey?
So ever since we passed the resolution posing our new budget next fiscal year, we have not spent anything.
Got it.
Yeah.
Is that
And
something?
that'll be, huh?
Is that something we can look into? Or
Yes, it's definitely something we can look into, since we do have quite a lot of money, I believe, that we didn't spend, that we allotted for the quarter of the fiscal year. And next year too, I believe we post a new budget under the assumption that we will continue boosting. So yeah.
okay, I'm open to boosting the surveys and maybe also our meetings. I don't know. I remember in the beginning we were posting a lot for like these meetings, but I haven't seen one in a little bit. So I think we can boost that, and we can boost maybe the survey so we can get more responses.
Okay, I'll definitely write that down. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for the input on the boosting. Yeah, I think for the secretaries, it's pretty, with you guys, you can just make the decisions based on our budget, how you'd want to spend. So maybe between now and the next meeting, hopefully you can boost a few of our old posts and anything new, and just update us at next meeting. So thank you. And then my bad, sorry, I totally forgot about public testimony. I think I heard there are people that wanted to testify. Was there anyone in person or WebEx that wanted to speak from the public? Or maybe not. I heard from someone messaged me that there were people there, but maybe not.
She stepped out, I think.
Yeah, she's
Just move on.
Oh.
Sorry, is there someone there in person? I can't see in the video.
She's no longer in the room.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
The recommendation is just to keep going.
Okay, got it. Thank you. If someone does come in and wants to testify, let me know and we can jump back to that.
Sure.
But now we'll just move on to commissioner initiatives. I believe this was a part where just kind of if anyone had any updates on any either resolutions or projects, events they want to advertise, get input on from the group, you guys can have kind of open discussion about that now.
Oh, I had something.
Yeah, go ahead.
It wasn't on the resolutions, the list of resolutions that we'll be covering today, but I did write a resolution for the upcoming June commissioner meeting, and I believe Chair Campbell will send out my resolution when be sending out the emails for next meeting, but I wanted like input on or a discussion on traffic and like speed bumps around, I guess, all the districts because a continuity that I've seen like almost anywhere I go in like community board meetings or community concerns is always like traffic calming devices and things like that. So I was wondering if other commissioners had input based on like their districts or their experiences and things like that so that we can have an open discussion about, I guess, traffic calming devices and speed bumps in our communities in general.
Thank you, Secretary Lim. Yeah, if anyone has any input on any of those points you mentioned, feel free. And also, I see Vice Chair Azama is on too, so I'll hop off, or I'll let him kind of take over running the meeting for now, if that's all right.
Okay, I can receive the gavel, Chair Millard. Just catching up in terms of items on the agenda. So are we in the old business currently right now?
Yeah, the old business, just commissioner initiative, so kind of open discussion time if anyone's working on anything.
Okay, got it. Thank you. So continuing on for in support of Chair Millard, and thank you, Commissioner Lim, for sharing about the interest in traffic. We'll note that to Chair Campbell as well. Is there anything else that anybody has for commissioner initiatives under agenda item 5, old business? Okay, hearing none, looks like we will move on down the agenda.
Hi,
So moving on to
Bronson.
permitted interaction groups.
Bronson,
Oh, yes.
real quickly, could I motion to go back to public testimony, please?
Which commissioner is speaking? So sorry.
Commissioner Soon, sorry.
Okay, Commissioner Soon has moved to divert on the agenda back to public testimony. Does anybody want to second that?
I'll second that.
And it's been seconded. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any opposition to diverting on the agenda back to public testimony? Hearing no opposition, motion passes. So we're now back into the public testimony period. Is there anybody from the public who would like to comment? And please identify yourselves as well.
Aloha, Angela Melody Young, testifying on behalf of CARES, a grassroots movement. We advocate at the state and the city for matters relating to health, education, arts. And this year we legislated a few proposals for Department of Education public school students in Hawaii. So I'm very interested in the concerns that the students and the team has. Yeah. I will be commenting about the traffic and calming device concern, that if you could refer to the pilot program that is being implemented in the county of Honolulu. It's a pilot program enacted by Act 131 of 2019, which created a task force to form a committee to provide a report for the red light running camera pilot program. Basically, what this means is that in order to control the traffic and people not slowing down, they put little cameras in the intersections to catch offenders and those who violate the intersection laws. And the structure of this law was copied from a few other jurisdictions. So,
Melody, gonna have to ask to wrap
Summarize?
up too. Sorry, we usually try to do a 3-minute mark.
Oh,
But,
okay.
If there's a two, yeah.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
basically, to summarize, the act created a task force and it provided a report to implement the pilot program to control traffic. And then it has the lawyers, public defender's office, and then also the Honolulu Police Department, and then the county's prosecuting office to help to mitigate these concerns because people were not slowing down. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much, Melody. Is there any other members of the public that would wish to testify? Okay. Hearing none, we're closing public testimony and then returning back to our order of business, which is we're now at agenda item 6, permitted interaction groups. Starting off with the PIG for education, is there anything to report?
I don't think so.
Okay, hearing no report from PIG for education, is there anything to report from the PIG for defealing Red Hill? Okay, and I know I'm kind of running that PIG too, but briefly, sorry again, not organizing the PIG meeting graduation this month, but for just update, so there were 2 housing units that did their own testing for PFAS because they didn't trust their Navy water testing, which both of those households found that they're actually, I believe, above national standards for safety for PFAS. So that's something that we may want to discuss at some point, and I'll try to work on a resolution for that because PFAS doesn't get addressed by the Navy because it's outside of the order, I believe the consent agreement. I can't recall exactly what it's called, but the agreement between the Navy as well as the EPA on how they'll address how they'd address dealing with the aquifer in the event that it was contaminated. So because PFAS is outside of that scope, it's something that the Navy doesn't necessarily have a legal obligation to really talk about with groups like the Community Representative Initiative. But that's all the updates that I have for PIG for defueling Red Hill. Is there anybody else in the PIG that would like to share anything that they may have heard? Okay, hearing none, moving on to PIG for youth intervention and trafficking. Does anybody from the PIG have anything to report? Okay, hearing nothing, no report. Moving on to PIG for HYC newsletter. Is there anything to report from the PIG for the newsletter?
We haven't had a meeting recently, but I will look into starting a new meeting because I know that we are going to have a newsletter ready soon. So I think we're going to have to start getting started on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So continuing down the agenda, we're now in new business and we have quite a few resolutions. So moving on, HYC resolution 24-005. And I'd like to invite Commissioner Payne if she would like to introduce this resolution.
Thank you. So I have 2 for us today, and I think for 7 and 8 that will probably be postponed until June, until that commissioner will be able to attend. So for 24-005, this resolution, it's a resolution urging the city and county to basically investigate and implement methods of repurposing ash from H-Power as a way to decrease the amount of ash entering the landfill. Because as we know, we have very limited land space available for the landfill, and it's also projected to reach capacity in 20 to 25 years because our last remaining landfill is the West Hawaii Sanitary Landfill. And so because of this limited land space and the fact that 9% of the total waste stream on Oahu is this landfilled ash residue from the H-Power plant, I thought it would be important to investigate being able to repurpose this in ways that keeps it out of the landfill. So H-Power waste energy plants, they're a great way for Hawaii to both generate energy from itself, and also prevent a lot of different municipal solid waste from entering the landfill. And so the actual fly ash that is produced, it's actually a dramatically cheaper and strengthening agent when you make concrete. And so Hawaii even allows contractors to use fly ash that has been basically bought from other areas. However, it has to be a certain class in order to be usable. And so Hawaii actually has spent approximately $283 per ton delivering this fly ash from China, even though we generate it ourselves from the municipal solid waste plant. And so I obviously am no expert on this topic, but I wrote this resolution because I wanted to encourage a committee to meet and report on a regular basis to the House of Representatives about any way, instead of having to basically purchase fly ash from other nations, we can use our own fly ash to allow the H-power we're using to be even more renewable and keep even more waste out of the landfills, basically.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Payne. Would anybody like to make a motion in regards to HYC Resolution 24-005, and then we can go into discussion?
I'll make a motion to discuss Resolution 24-005.
Okay. It's been moved in order to go into discussion. Is there a second? Sorry, I'm used to usually other motions, but any second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there anybody in opposition into moving into discussion on HYC Resolution 24-005? Okay, hearing none, we'll now go into discussion. Does any commissioner have any questions for for HYC Resolution 24-005? Or
You can go ahead.
I think I really like this, and it's something that we have to think about, and living sustainably like on our land and being able to perpetuate it for generations. And this is something 20 to 25 years from now that people are going to be like, I wish we did something earlier. So I commend you for writing this and being a visionary.
Aw, thank you.
yeah.
I was gonna say,
Thank you so much, Commissioner Soon. Does anybody else have a question or comment?
I was just gonna say, I know that this was a pretty prominent concern at the Kailua Kaneohe Town Hall, so I think it's definitely worth discussing or passing just due to the public concern about it also.
That's a good point.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything to comment? If not, Chair has a question. So just in regards to, could you explain the classes, like what determines a F class or a C class, and like how that kind of like plays a role into how it's used?
I think it mainly has to do with just like the quality of the ash being produced. And so right now it doesn't meet class F or C requirements, but I know that there are different like purification processes or alternative uses that you can use for the ash. And so even though right now it's not currently being used for the construction projects because it is, you know, able to be using like cement in a lot of building to actually reduce the cost of it for residents here, but also so like I'm not an expert on it, but I think that it is definitely something worth investigating by people who are experts in that and able to implement the resources to have it undergo that process, whether it be, you know, something they do to the ash or something more when it comes to actually just policy to allow that to become usable for like Hawaiian cement, for example.
Got it. Thank you so much. Follow-up question. So when you mentioned the fly ash that comes from China, do you know the origin of the fly ash? Like, is that regarding like a coal plant, or is it also similar to like H-power in terms of like, you know, how we're burning rubbish that might be toxic?
I know they get it from a variety of sources, and so I'm pretty sure sometimes it's fly ash cannot actually be produced when it like intentionally for that purpose, whereas ours is more of a waste product. So I know there's a lot of different sources to actually purchase it from, so I'm not completely sure what like the main one is, But I do know that because they're both fly ash and they're both able to be implemented in the building strategies, but one is given a certain class, that we should just investigate the ability to make it into that class or repurpose it in another way that doesn't have to necessarily be related just to cement.
Got it. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Would anybody like to make a motion to, yes, member, I believe that is, sorry, Miss Young.
Oh, I'm not a member. I just want to testify as a community member of the public, trying to support the Youth Commission. So whenever my time is...
Yeah, we'll allow 3 minutes for it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. So I do love this proposal. So the topic and the concerns being discussed here relates to health hazards in the processing of facilities of trash. So I think it is very relevant to y'all's generation. And if we look at the process of H-Power, how does trash get processed, right, in Hawaii at H-Power? So H-Power processes trash and recycling by turning trash into energy. H-Power reduces our dependence on imported oil. And although the United States imports crude oil and petroleum products from other countries to supply domestic demand for petroleum and to supply international markets, the process that happens at H-Power reduces our dependence on those imported products. This process is called energy recovery, where the trash is then turned into a process of converting it into renewable heat, electric power, and fuel through a process such as combustion, gasification, pyrolyzation, and anaerobic digestion, and landfill gas recovery.
Little ones, okay.
I think it's very important, especially because there are laws that your generation should be concerned about in terms of facilities design. And you can look that up in the Congressional Research Service report. And also, the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, has
Please wrap up comments.
very important environmental standards listed in its criteria for how incineration facilities are to function. So it's very important to learn about that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Going back to the commission, does anybody else have any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to pass this resolution.
And sorry, couldn't catch who said it. Which commissioner? Please.
Commissioner Brammer.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Brammer has moved to approve the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
And which commissioner seconded? Was that Commissioner Shea?
Yes.
Okay, and seconded by Commissioner Shea. Is there any further discussion on approving HYC Resolution 24-005? Okay. Hearing no further discussion, is there any opposition to passing the motion? To passing the resolution, sorry. Okay, hearing none, motion passes. Moving on to the next agenda item, which is HYC Resolution 24-006. Is there anyone who would like to make a motion to bring it, I would allow Commissioner Payne if you'd like to also introduce this resolution.
Thank you. So, keeping in mind that 28.5% of Hawaii's children aged 10 to 17 are overweight or obese, and also current sports are proven to have a plethora of physical.
Sorry, Andrew, would you be able to mute yourself? My apologies, we're getting some side conversation.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
Continue.
you. Okay, thanks. And also that it's proven that children who play sports have fewer emotional and behavioral problems and are less likely to do drugs, substance abuse, or even develop a negative body image. So there are many benefits to having keiki sports, and also the fact that many private sports on Hawaii are inaccessible or too expensive and present too much of a financial hardship to many families, especially those of middle or lower income who are not able to afford them. And many club sports tend to be very expensive. And also there are not consistently a large abundance of year-round sports that are accessible to families in every single district for an affordable price. And so my resolution is urging the City and County of Honolulu to ensure year-round affordable access to sports for children in middle school and below in each district of Oahu. And I focused on middle school and below for two main reasons. One, I think starting basically like those lifestyle changes and introduction to like physical health and sports is really important for their like initial development as children, but also because public high schools tend to have sports that are offered throughout the year, but middle school and below does not usually have this implemented. And so I thought it would be important to focus on that age group, especially initially. And so my resolution is urging both that like the city and county will ensure that middle school and below has access to this, and that they develop a comprehensive calendar or form of information that is publicly available and updated. So that way it's very easy for the public to go to one place and see these are the sports being offered in my district that are affordable for me year round. Because even though there's many great programs out there, not all of them happen consistently year round in every district. So this is basically asking the city and county to compile a calendar showing all of this and then filling in that calendar basically wherever they see there are flaws or gaps in this.
Thank you, Commissioner Payne. Would anybody from the commission like to make a motion in regards to House HYC Resolution 24-006?
A motion to discuss the resolution. This is Commissioner Ho.
It's been moved. Also to clarify for the point of clarification, I guess. But just real quick, so the commission, just so you guys know, you guys can motion to approve it, and then we'll have discussion based on the motion. So you don't have to always motion to discuss, but just a little tidbit. Commissioner, was that?
Commissioner Ho.
Sorry, was that Commissioner Ho?
Yes.
So Commissioner Ho has moved to discuss. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And it's been seconded by Commissioner Brammer. Is there, would anybody from the commission like to ask any questions, comments?
Oh, I have a question.
Yes, Commissioner Nguyen. Sorry, did I pronounce it right?
Oh, Wayne.
Win. Okay.
Did you have any specific sports in mind that you're gonna target for these programs?
So I decided to leave it very like open-ended because just so that whatever like members of the city council look into it, they're able to have a lot of freedom with it based on like what coaches they can find, what fields they can use, because there can be a lot of points of contention over field usage throughout the year, which is brought up at a town hall. But I definitely would urge the adoption of team sports because I think this leads to both social and physical development. And so, yes, but I did leave it very open-ended because I realized that even if there are sports available in certain districts, sometimes there's only one or two, or they might not even be affordable. So yeah, I just left it open-ended just for the ease of them implementing it. But if, in my personal preference, I'd say team sports should be the first priority. Like, for example, soccer, volleyball.
Thank you, Commissioner Ewan, and thank you, Commissioner Payne. Is there any further questions or comments? And please correct me if I mistake your guys' pronunciations as well.
Yeah, I had a really. Oh, sorry.
Yes, Commissioner Ho.
Yeah, so first of all, I love the resolution. I've played sports my entire life, so I recognize the value in them, especially. However, or not however, I was just kind of curious. So when you mention implement additional sports programs, what does that look like? Is that like individual neighborhood boards establishing, leagues, or is it like, yeah, in your according to this resolution, in your view, what does the city and county of Honolulu implementing, programs look like?
Right. So in the past, they've done things to try to act. Thanks for your question, brother. That's a good question. So in the past, for example, they've implemented like a bill for an action in the Hawaii House of Representatives created and managed a sports league for high school students in West Oahu free of charge for all West Oahu students. And so looking at that included a lot of team sports like soccer and volleyball and other sports as well. And so they've already implemented that by funding, basically like scheduling when it comes to the fields, the seasons for the sports, the coaches. But however, this only applies to high school students and then only on the west side of Oahu. And so I wanted this bill to be more comprehensive, focus on middle school and below for the entire island, so that all island districts, no matter, what location or socioeconomic status they have, are going to be able to access it. And so I think what it would look like is there's a number of like good city and county programs, states programs like Parks and Rec that do volunteer associations. So, and then other just established programs that they've done in the past. And I think they'd be able to build off of those, basically make it more accessible in more districts and give them higher diversity of sports if needed, or just make it extend for year round, or extend to middle school and below instead of high school. So I think it would look like that, utilizing a lot of their past programs, but also establishing new ones as they see fit if that becomes something they need to do.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Ho, and thank you, Commissioner Payne. Is there any further questions or comments?
I had a question.
Yes, Commissioner Miller.
Thank you. Just like, I guess in your research so far, I'm not super familiar with most of the park programs. Is it like outside leagues coming in asking the park to run a program, or does the park themselves run some of these sports?
Good question. So the Parks and Recreation themselves have run sports in the past. Like I know they've done some like volunteer basketball games at some of the courts, for example, in Aikahi area. And so like district parks, they'll have different programs at different points throughout the year. Sometimes they'll be art related, sometimes sports related, but it only covers a couple sports and it's not for the entire year usually. And so they do, and it's not always accessible to people in every district. And so, it's basically the Department of Parks and Recreation themselves, but also other like state sanctioned or county sanctioned programs as well. Which is different than just using the park. And organizations that use the park are examples like AYSO and other organizations, but there is actually the Department of Parks and Recreation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Millard, and thank you, Commissioner Payne, again for answering the question. Is there any further questions or comments? None. And then also, I did see Commissioner Lim note on regarding voting for passing resolutions. So just clarifying as well. So unless there's a commissioner who's opposed, when I mentioned like, is there any opposition, then everybody's vote technically counts in the affirmative. But yeah, so just clarifying that processes. Is there any further questions or comments in regards to the current resolution being discussed, which is 24-006?
I think the member from the public would like to testify.
Yes, briefly, and please keep it to points. The commission itself can also do our own education. That's kind of the point of why we've been selected as well. So please, Ms. Young.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to be testifying in strong support. And so my concern as a community member is that providing sports and healthy activities improves mental health / improves the health of psychology for students / improves stress and moods for the students. And for a concerned member, the health of the students when they do sports, it helps them boost and enhance their leadership qualities. And then it also helps them with teamwork and to train the students to be able to build a team when doing sports. And it helps them with like muscle training to make them stronger, as well as improving the quality of health and life in Hawaii. So as a concerned community member, I'm very much in support of this resolution. Because sports are healthy and yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, is there anybody else who has a comment, question, concern? Anybody from the commission have anybody who wants to make a motion?
A motion to approve this resolution.
Commissioner Soon, is there a second?
I'll second.
And it's been seconded by, is that Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, perfect. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion on approving resolution 24-006? Hearing no further discussion, is there any opposition to the motion? Hearing no opposition to the motion to approve, going once, going twice, motion passes unanimously. Moving on to resolution 24-007. Would Commissioner Shimizu like to introduce this resolution?
I think resolution 24007 and 24008 have been moved to next month's meeting. Commissioner Shimizu is not here today.
Okay, because they're agendized, so we would need a motion to defer to the next month then.
So I'll motion to defer HYC resolution number 24-007 to next month.
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion on deferring HYC resolution 24-007 to next month's meeting? Hearing none, motion passes.
And then I'll motion to move HYC resolution number 24-008 to next meeting also.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Soon. Is there a second?
I'll also second that.
And it's been seconded again by Commissioner Shea. Is there any further discussion on deferring resolution 24-008 to the next month's meeting? Hearing no further discussion, is there any opposition? Hearing no opposition, going once, going twice, motion passes, and we've deferred resolution 24-008 to the next meeting. Next up on new business, last item new business, discussion of Mayor Blangiardi's town halls.
I just wanted to briefly interject before those of you who have recently attended them speak. So at the last town hall I attended with Commissioner Brammer, we had a lot of good points come up that we discussed in the past meeting. And one thing I just wanted to bring up again is the fact that I was reached out to and asked to spread word about summer fun and how they really need more volunteers. So that would be high school seniors and above. And so I've been trying to push that out to my school. Like I have posters. I can also send that to you guys if needed, but there's also the website as well. So I just would like to request if you guys could put that out to your schools or communities in any way you can, just to try to recruit people to work there. It's like $16 to $17.50 an hour, and they just need it as a way to be able to watch the youth over the summer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Payne. Is there any further discussion to be had for the Mayor Blangiardi's town halls?
Going off of Commissioner Payne, are we able to publicize that like through our social media for youth to apply for, or is there a law against that?
In regards to the question, at least to my knowledge, there's nothing against the law for you guys to post that on your own social medias or on the Youth Commission social media.
I would, is there a social media pic?
Yes.
I would ask the social media pig if the next time they meet, if they're able to discuss that.
Thank you. That's a really good point.
Yeah. Thank you, Commissioner Soon. And for those members of the PIG for social media, as well as our secretaries, I think, yes, and as Commissioner Lim, the PIG for outreach will also discuss.
Thank you.
Is there any other further discussion on the mayor's town halls?
Well, Commissioner Carranza and I attended the Manoa Town Hall, and yeah, we both didn't stay for the whole meeting, or like town hall, but I think a few of the things that they talked about were like later trash pickup times. I don't know, it didn't really apply to us, but I guess it could because it's like general public. Yeah, like he also had us like introduce ourselves and what we do on the commission in front of everyone, so that was also like
Mahalo, Commissioner Shane, for sharing. Is there any further discussion? Yes, Miss Young.
Can you see me? Yeah. So I was just going to talk about the ocean safety proposal for the emergency response building proposed by the Sharks Cove Alliance and Surfrider. That's going to be heard at the next town hall in Haleiwa North Shore District. So it was canceled, and then I think they're going to reschedule it for a later date. And I think that's very interesting, perhaps for youths, and because it kind of creates an awareness about environmental protection and sustainability, and to preserve natural resources, and to take care of like plants and water and the ocean, because the proposal is to build the ocean safety response emergency team building instead of building like a shopping center. So I think like as a concerned community member, I think that's something perhaps the Youth Commission could learn a lot from. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Young. Is there any further discussion in regards to the mayor's town halls? Okay, hearing none, we'll continue down the agenda. Future agenda items. Does anybody have any agenda items they'd like to ensure are agendized for the next meeting? Okay, hearing none, I do know, sorry, that PIG for outreach wasn't included on this agenda, so hopefully it should be included next agenda. Anybody else? Okay, hearing nothing, moving on to announcements. Next meeting will be on Tuesday, June 18th, 5:30 p.m., same time as this meeting. And then do not forget resolutions and documents are due the week before the meeting. Does anybody else have any further announcements? Okay, hearing no further announcements, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting at 6:20. Would anybody like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion. I'll make the motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:20.
It's been moved by Commissioner Payne. Is there a second?
Oops.
I'll second.
And it's been seconded by Commissioner Brammer. Is there any further discussion on adjourning this meeting at 6:20? Hearing no further discussion, is there any opposition? Hearing no opposition, this meeting is adjourned at 6:20. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.